Hey guys, what's going on? Future John here. You're about to get a word from February 15th, 2025, John. This is June 8th, 2025, John. In fact, today's Pentecost, so we're about to go to church, but I hope you have a great day. Anyway, there are a couple things that I want to clear up in the video that you're about to see. I've referenced many times the evil, the sin driving, the evil force behind these girls. I've used similar terms to this. You'll see. In no way am I intending to call these girls evil, for in fact these girls are not evil. I'm simply trying to describe the force of evil that has unfortunately taken them captive and is now leading them to do what they do. Again, I'm not calling these girls are not evil, quite frank, these girls are not evil. So yeah, I don't know if there will be any more word from Future John in this video. I have to watch it a couple more times to see. You'll know. And also I want to say that the rustling noise that you hear right when old John comes on screen does not last for more than 5 seconds. So just get through those first 5 seconds and you'll be good to go. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video. God bless you all. And I hope you go to church today, Pentecost Sunday. Very important day. I'll see you later. Hey guys. Today we have a very different video than what we usually make, aside from the Bible readings and acathists. I don't know if I'll have posted one of those yet. I'm making this video on February 15th as I have a great achievement in Christ to be thankful for. Yesterday, on Valentine's Day, marked 1 year without masturbation and pornography for me. And this is, I'm sure, a problem that you're probably dealing with. I wanted to make this video because while there are a lot of no-fap videos, all these things, and general Protestant Christian videos of how to do it. I haven't found too many Orthodox videos from the perspective of a lay person who personally was addicted to porn. There's many videos from priests on how to overcome lust addiction and things like this, and I definitely recommend that you stop watching this video and go watch those ahead of mine, because those are, I'm sure, much more edifying and much more valuable than this. But I haven't looked far and wide to find videos like the one I'm making now, but from what I've seen, from what I understand, there aren't many. So I have a list of notes that I'm going to cover. I've been contemplating these for maybe 3 weeks. I've had this video in mind. I wanted to make it to that 1 year mark before recording this video. So thanks to God and His Holy Mother and all of the saints, we are going to be coming up on 366 days in a few hours. So yeah, my story is probably very, very similar to all of yours. I was in 5th grade. I think I was 10, about to turn 11. And I was at my friend's house. And we were just hanging out in his room. And he's like, bro, you gotta see what my cousin showed me. And I'm like, okay. And he goes on his computer and I see porn for the first time. And I was so young that, we didn't watch it at length. He was like, dude, look at this. And I was like, dude, what? And at first, I was so young that I didn't even, there was so much movement going on in this video that I didn't understand. I didn't understand what was happening. And I had to look at it and try to see, try to understand, what am I looking at? Because I didn't even know the anatomy of a woman. I didn't know how any of that worked. And then I remember I had to go to the bathroom, innocently go to the bathroom shortly after that. And I was scared that somebody was going to come out from behind the the shower curtain and do to me what I had just seen. So before long, I don't remember the exact escalation of things, but somehow it went from me seeing that random thing to me looking at it, lesser thing, like stuff on YouTube, and then eventually, very quickly, within a year, because I have distinct memories of being in 6th grade, looking at like real porn, and it was weird because I didn't even know. Like, this is embarrassing, but the very first time anything happened, in my mind, I thought I had just had sex. And I have this distinct memory of the first time I had like an actual physical reaction. I said out loud to myself, I think I just had sex. So I was very immature. I'm sure many of you were even younger than I. But yeah, within a year, it was a pretty regular thing. It wasn't at its peak yet when I was that young, but yeah, it quickly escalated. I didn't even know how to do what I was trying to do to myself. I'll put it to you that way. I didn't know how you're supposed to do what I was attempting to do. So for probably 2 years, maybe less, I don't know, some amount of time, I was just I just didn't know. I was just so immature, as again, I'm sure all of you are. I'm not special in this way, and that's the real tragedy of it. Is I look at myself, I was 10 years old, and I know for certain that there are some of you out there that were 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, hopefully not even younger. But yeah, I have vacant memories of like obscure, like the very first things I would ever watch, I think, and unfortunately I think these things are just going to be with me for the rest of my life. But as I grew up, into middle school, into high school, I didn't even really understand that looking at porn and masturbating was even wrong. I didn't intellectually understand that this isn't something that you shouldn't be doing, until I honestly don't even know when, maybe high school. And at that point, I mean, it was just such an ingrained part of my of my life that it was. And especially even after high school, I had a lot of time. I didn't really go to college. I mean, technically, but I was at home. I'm talking like 3 times a day, every day for years. Like it was really bad, and I didn't even really fully understand the scope of it. I didn't understand that it was wrong. I didn't understand how hard it would be. I didn't understand how much damage I was doing, not only to myself but to these poor girls, which is something I'll get into later. But I just didn't understand until I was 23. I understood prior to being 23, but when I was 23, I wasn't even super involved in the Orthodox Church yet. I don't think. Maybe I was. Perhaps I was. I knew I was Christian in some sense. I forget exactly when I embraced Orthodoxy, but I knew that okay, this is wrong. This needs to stop. And I went through the all too common thing of like, well, what if I'm masturbating but I'm not looking at porn? What if I'm looking at porn but I'm not masturbating? Is it a sin to like look at porn and not masturbate? I went through that whole phase of trying to like figure out like just the one possible way that I could still do this. Futile, absolutely futile, my brothers and sisters, because it's a cloud of smoke. It's not real. There is no way to abuse yourself and others and it not be a sin, which is like something that's hard to like finally accept and be like, no, like you actually just have to stop. So I started to make an attempt at, I knew that it was what was right. I don't think, I know that it was not yet what I wanted, but I was trying in some small outward way. And I would start by, let's see, well, I would start by, because I was so frequent, at this point I had weaned myself to just 2 times a day, every single day. I started to set a weekly limit for me, and I think that limit started maybe at like 10, maybe, probably not 15, because that was more than, probably like 10. And then I'd go, and I think like 7, and then like 5, and then 3. And then I started going like, okay, like, and this was a very slow process. I'm gonna go 3 days. I'm gonna go 5 days. I'm gonna go a week. I'm gonna go 10 days. I'm gonna go 2 weeks. I'm gonna go, I think 20 days and then a month. And I did these things. And they can seem good, but this is just really a waste of time. I wasted a year doing this, and also then I went from that, and it became so hard for me to like be able to do that, and I'll explain why in a second, that I said like, okay, monthly limits, like 4 times a month, 3 times a month. All of these are so futile. At least this is just my story. I should have prefaced this. I'll put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video. This is just how it was for me. Before anything else, talk to your spiritual father, talk to your parish priest. Don't just, oh, well, this is what this idiot online did. This is just what I did. And this is just what I found for me. But yeah, I would go like, okay, I think it was like 10 times a month. Then because it got so hard doing that 1 month stretch. I'm like, well, yeah, but like I'm still like learning how to go a month without it. But it was just like a lie, because yeah, I wasn't looking at porn, I wasn't masturbating, but I just had my eyes on the goal. Like it wasn't like helping me to overcome this. I was just like, okay, just hold out, and then we can do it again. So like in your head, you can like twist it to be like, no, like I'm learning. It's futile. I wasted a year, about maybe 11 or 13 months, but I wasted a year. In fact, that year, or maybe it was the year before, I spent all of my money on OnlyFans. Like 85% of my money, I'd say, on OnlyFans. It was brutal in every way. But I kept doing these things, and then I was like, okay, I can just let myself go. This is where I started to, it's still wrong, but I was like, okay, work on it, go as much as you want, but the catch is every time you do it, there's a punishment, a set punishment. It's the same punishment every time. You know what you're gonna get. It's the same thing. And then I held to that, but then it became, I'm not doing it, not because of the love of God, not because this is what's right, not because I care for these poor girls or for myself, but because I don't want to deal with this punishment. Futile. So eventually I gave up on that, and this is when the real progress started to be made. Fail as many times as it takes, but go. And over that year-ish, I developed more of like actually wanting to do this, actually like growing closer to God through his church, actually like not just, I know it's right, and I'm gonna try and like plant my feet in the ground, but like try and move forward into this. So it was a lot of maturing and development for me as well. It wasn't just figuring how things worked for me, but also like actually wanting to do it. And so I would blow it a lot. I would fail and fail and fail and fail. And I would keep, a tally. And it's important to not get obsessed with the numbers, but I would keep a catalog in my mind. I have a piece of paper I would make tallies on. Maybe I'll show it to you of like how many days I'm making. And of course I was watching, for the amount of time, probably the most porn in my life during these days. But at the same time, I was unknowingly making the most progress. Because I'd go like 3, 4, 5 days, and then I'd completely fall. I'd binge. Just binge and binge and binge. And then out of the ashes of that binge would come like this, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with this indescribable suffering of like just spiritual agony over like what I've done, and also like knowing that I could be this much further. I could have not done it, but I did, and I failed again. And this agony, this pain served as an amazing motivator to get to where I am today, because I made it 20 days. I made it 20 days. And it's crazy because all of this happened like in this room, in this house. So I'm kind of like right now getting flashbacks to that day. I remember exactly what did it. I remember exactly why. I remember exactly how. And it's kind of like a uncomfortable flashback. But the pain that I felt after throwing away 20 days was unlike any pain I've felt in my life, truly. And because that was by far the most I'd ever made it. I think it was definitely the most I've ever made it. I forget by what length, but the amount of pain that I felt after that, I was devastated. And it's this weird thing where I like talked myself in, like I didn't even need to do it. I didn't even particularly have the urge. I like got in my own head, and that was my problem, was like I would get in my own head and like twist until it would just happen. And then I went on a crazy bender, a porn bender, after that. And I kept getting into the cycle of like, oh, like once you start again, like that'll be it. So, oh, your last time can't be to her. Your last time can't be to that video. Come on, what about her? One more time. Come on, one more time. And so that lengthened the bender, the binge. And fortunately, though, that was my last fall in any potently outward sense. Whereas, I haven't masturbated or looked at porn since. Things that I want to tell you about that journey is what did help me was I fasted for 24 hours before, because I knew I really wanted to commit to this, and I knew prayer and fasting can solve a lot of your problems. So I fasted for 24 hours, no food, no drink, and I'm not gonna lie, that was right before, or like, I guess 21 days before I fell again. But then I've been clean. So I do attribute a lot to that fast. Going to confession and unloading really my lifetime of degeneracy helped. And in that confession, my priest, who has known me since I was a baby, or a very young boy, I should say, looked at me dead in the face and said to me, he said, you have to be very careful. Lust will destroy you. Lust will destroy you. It will destroy you. With the most stern yet loving and compassionate face, he looked me dead in the eyes and said, it will destroy you. And very unfortunately, I soon watched that in someone close to me, watch that happen. I'm talking about many lives ruined because of lust. And I got the message. At that point, I was 64 days in, so I was already doing well, but that really propelled me to keep going. I can't tell you, I don't think I'll ever be able to forget his face, him looking at me and just saying, it will destroy you, and then watching it play out in someone very close to me. And it's weird because for me, really the only thing, they always say you have to give it to God. You can't fight it yourself. You have to give it to God. You have to give it to God. And I never understood what does this actually mean? And for me, it was the strangest thing. For me, it was, in a sense, giving up. Being like, I just can't do this. Like, this is impossible. I'm never going to be able to do this. And this was even, like, at that last time. Me really believing in my heart that I cannot do this was, for me, how I unknowingly gave it to God. Me believing in my heart that this is impossible. I, John Ramito, I cannot do. And I'm not saying that that's how it should be for you, but for me, that's how I, again, unknowingly gave it to God, because then, here we are. And there have been many bumps and bruises along this last year that I'll get into. I mean, in this last year, I have been absolutely haunted by a handful of women these girls. And they still, not as bad, but they still will show up in my thoughts at any time of the day, not just at night, not just in the morning, but at any time. And they're on rotation. Like, they each have like a day or two at a time, and they come in. Like, it's this one's turn, she'll come into my mind, she'll fade back, this one, fade back, this one. And it's been very hard, but it's been a very beautiful journey with God. I can't describe it. So there are a couple things I wanted to add here. First, the haunting of being, haunted by these girls that I mentioned a little bit earlier. We are now at June 10th, and I've been rewatching this video. That haunting has completely, for the most part, like, I'd say 95% gone away. That rotation that I used this hand motion with to describe doesn't happen anymore, and I can't really remember the last time it did. So hopefully you'll find the same results. It shouldn't last more than, hopefully a year and a half, which, not a very short amount of time, but not the rest of your life either. So if you can just get through that haunting, have hope, have faith that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you'll be good. It'll come to an end, and you'll be okay. In a weird way, in an indescribable way. In fact, I was trying to tell my friend about this last night. It's like I'm just now, or over this last year, in some sense, just now went through puberty. Mentally, internally, somehow, it's like I feel like now I've developed, and now I've been a man in a way that I missed out on if I had gone through puberty without this porn. And I will share with you, I was debating this. There is a young woman, a lovely girl, I'm sure, who started her unfortunate journey in this world of porn after I quit. But yet, she's all over social media. And so I would still see her all the time and I had an idea, but I didn't know for sure that this is what she did. And I tried to find her Instagram. I saw enough. And I got it. I understood what her deal is. And the strangest thing is, every time I would see her just randomly on social media, like completely covered, like not even doing anything, I would see her, and I don't understand why. I don't understand the emotion behind it. But I would cry. It would hurt. Something about seeing her would hurt me so bad. I don't know if it was... I don't know. I think it was, in a sense, me being so undeveloped mentally, me still somewhere in my mind being 10 years old, being a baby, and me not getting what I wanted. That I had no other means of expressing this other than crying. I mean, I'd love to sit and tell you that I was crying over her soul, but I don't think that was true. She, like, just looking at this girl fully clothed, just a picture of even just her face would just tear me to pieces. And it wasn't the women that I grew up with. Like, you know, when I started out, I was 10, maybe some of these girls were 20, and by the time I get 24, they're 34. Like, in a sense, we all grew up with a lot of these girls. You know, we watched them our whole life, like, but it wasn't the case with her. I to this day, I've never seen her do anything. I've never seen her body. I've never seen her do anything, but it's these girls like this that will cause me a lot of pain. And I think that there is a more potent venom in OnlyFans than traditional porn, although they're both unacceptable. But I think the closeness that can be conjured, the intimacy between you and her in the DMs that can be conjured makes a much deeper connection rather than just going on whatever website and looking there. And I think that with OnlyFans girls in particular, it can be a lot harder to overcome because all of the girls, the vast majority of the girls that torment me, and it's not them. I want to get into that in a little bit, but it's not them. But the vast majority of girls that I'm tormented with thoughts of are new girls, OnlyFans girls, not even like the ones that I really grew up with. And so yeah, how to actually overcome this, how to keep going, how to stay strong the Orthodox way. First and foremost, to me, I've seen the videos that I've seen a opinion that I imagine I'm in communion with the church's thought process on this. I'm not sure, perhaps I'm way off. But I've seen videos saying that you have to see these girls pretty much as blood-sucking demons, that they're only after your money and they want to destroy your soul, and that's it. And I adamantly disagree with this assessment. I feel like the only way that we can overcome the evil behind these girls, because sin, as we're told by the saints, is a chance mishappening to someone. That's how we should view it in people, not to see them as evil. The only way we can get a foothold on this is if we don't see them as these demon women who are here to destroy you, because now we're lusting and now we're hateful, and two negatives are going to take you straight down. You're going to start looking at them to spite them. You're going to be angry at them. This is just not the way to. This is just not, for me, I don't believe that this is the way to go. You have to see them as pure children of Christ who have gone terribly astray because of you. Because if you weren't doing what you're doing, there would be no market for them to be doing what they're doing. You have to take responsibility for their actions. And you have to see them as pure children of Christ, which it's very easy for me to sympathize with these girls because they're so beautiful. It's much easier for me, and this is a flaw within me, to sympathize with a very beautiful woman than like a brutish man, I suppose. And that, you know, in this case plays to at least my benefit, because it's hard, but to see them as something that this terrible thing is happening to, someone who in a sense has like this spiritual cancer and they don't even know it. That's the thing, they don't even know it. That's really, I think, the way that we should be going, not crushing, these whores. Oh, no. Look at our fallen sisters in Christ. Mourn for your soul. Mourn for their soul. Mourn for those around them. Because the truth is, these girls, as devastatingly beautiful as they are, they know it. And they've been told this, more than likely, they've been told this their whole life. They were probably raised in looser households where this was always an option. Just use your body, you know, this like type of liberal feminism was probably in most cases, or at least some, promoted to them. They were in a sense raised for this in the way the world is now. They probably weren't treated like actual humans ever since they hit puberty. Ever since we started doing this, they were on a different path that led to the same destruction, because ever since they became pretty, every boy, you know how we were monsters in middle school and how worse we got in high school. every boy, these girls aren't stupid. They knew that every boy was talking to them because they wanted to get in bed with them. And every girl hated them because their boyfriend wanted to get into bed with this other girl. And so they were resented by girls. They were treated like meat by boys. Who knows what they were dealing with in their family and their home life. They were led here because of us. They also, not only, we have to overcome lust as the consumers of this passion. They not only have to overcome lust, they have to overcome their desire for fame. They have to overcome their greed in it because they're making good. You guys know they're making money on this. They have to overcome so many more things. It's so much harder for them to let this go than it is for us, because we, like I said, we have lust. They have the lust for fame, the lust of the flesh, the lust for money, vanity, feeling pretty, feeling like a woman, being accepted by society in some way. And a lot of the time I'm going to go out on a wager, I'll go out on a limb and say, we knew of, or at least now know, the pure, perfect love of Christ. These girls likely don't. They don't get it. We get it, and we still do this. They don't get it, and we're forced in some sense into it. And I'm not here to say that these girls are of course, they're in charge of their own lives. But if you're raised in this direction without God, oh yeah, go do whatever you want. I mean, to some extent, you can't completely hold them at fault. And we as men who are supposed to be caring for our country, for our community, for our women, whether we're married to them or not in the general sense, we have led them here. Because like I said, if there was no market for this, they wouldn't be doing it. And it's important to understand the damage that we are doing to them, not only in giving them the money, in giving them the clicks, the likes, the follows, to keep them, holding them down, because they're making so much money. Everything's good for them right now. We're holding them down, but also the damage that we're doing to them by putting our sin, further sin, into the world, into the air, and directed towards them. We don't know the spiritual damage that we are directly doing to these sorrowful young women, or whatever age woman. Our sin doesn't affect only us. You know, sin came into the world, that one sin came into the world and devastated the entire world. So what are we doing every time we sin, and especially when our sin is directed towards these children of God? So that's the mindset, I think. Consult with your priest. Maybe I'm way off base, but I think that's the mindset that we have to have. I want to cut in here really quick to say that I don't mean to make, I briefly kind of mentioned this, I don't mean to make it seem like I'm trying to say that these girls are not in control of their own lives, they're not in control of their own actions, that they're not, guilty of anything, or that they're somehow completely innocent and all of these things. They have to answer for their sins, we have to answer for ours, and as men, and if you are a woman watching this right now, I guess you could kind of skip this part because it is directly for the boys. But as men, like I said, we are to care for and to love and to guide our communities, our countries, our families, and care for those around us. We have to take accountability for our own actions. We can't sit here and point fingers of, oh, but it's their fault, it's her fault, she's doing this, that's making me do that. We're in control of our bodies. That's part of being a man. You're in control of your actions, you're in control of your bodies, you're in control of how you react to your feelings and things like that. You can't, oh, but it's them, it's this other thing. Of course, they are not totally innocent in this. But as I said before, if it wasn't for our desire and our willingness to pay, and the desire to have, a sexual desire isn't a bad thing. But when we choose to point it this way and choose to fund it with money, for a girl that's on her, at her breaking point, seems to have no other way to go, here she is, because we're willing to pay for it. So, of course, again, these girls are not perfect little angels, totally innocent and everything. But we as men have to be able to rise above our feelings, and we have to take accountability for the damage that we cause the world around us and the women around us. So, yeah. Okay. So tips that I have for you would first and foremost, we have to, in order to truly see these girls as, innocent children in Christ, we have to be able to see Christ in them. And the way that helped me the most was to truly strengthen my relationship with the female saints, and of course, most of all, with the Panagia, with the Virgin Mary. To develop a prayer life and a closeness to these holy women, to see true righteous beauty spiritually, most of all, firsthand, to grow with our Holy Mother and to grow with the saints. I definitely recommend, read a few lives of the female saints. Saint Mary of Egypt is a great choice, but really any female saint. Read a few lives, see which ones, don't pick, but see which ones speak deep into your heart, and grow close in prayer and in spiritual life with them, and of course, universally with our Holy Mother. And I think that you'll find that as you grow deeper with truly pious and righteous, virtuous, and many of them have been described as physically beautiful women, you'll more easily be able to see that these things potentially shine through it in these girls, as well as you'll feel a deeper sense of betrayal to these women when you go over and do this to their daughters. So I think definitely, I know that definitely developing a closeness to, in particular, female saints, but all saints. There are great male saints, of which we'll talk about in a minute, who can definitely aid you on this journey. All of them, of course, but some can be particularly relatable. What else? So, also, thinking of your wife, whether you are married, whether you have a girlfriend, or whether you are on that path to finding such a thing, such a beautiful and holy thing. And what I will say about that, kind of going off, not completely off topic for a little bit, but what I have done, and I didn't do this until lately, but what I have done is first you have to clean up your algorithm on social media. You just have to, period. And once you get a good Orthodox algorithm, I guarantee you will be presented with Orthodox marriage hype videos. And in these videos, you can see, at least on some surface level, and I think most likely much deeper than that, truly beautiful Orthodox mothers and women. And in these videos, what I have done is and just like slides on Instagram that represent marriage and righteous femininity, I have created a folder on my phone of like the virtuousness of women, the piety, the purity, like good qualities, good feminine, loving qualities in women. And I've collected a folder, so anytime I'm starting to get attacked, I can look at what I'm aimed towards and not this other thing. I can look at like the purity of a wife, the virtue of a woman, these things in an image form. And those are very helpful. They have been for me. I will tell you this, and your wife will thank me later. Right now, in cleaning up your algorithm, I find it very important to unfollow all of those random girls that you don't know that you think are pretty, or all of those pretty girls that talk to you that one time in 8th grade that you still follow, that you have like this weird attachment to for some reason, because in your mind they know exactly who you are and they have you in their heart. No, it's not, of course, it's not the same as looking at porn, but for the sake of your wife, it's best to get rid of these ties, these mental ties as early as possible. Because you guys, I'm sure, have heard it, like, oh, my boyfriend is always liking all these other girls' pictures on Instagram, all these bikini pics. Don't put her through that. You want an amazing woman and you're going to treat her like this? Get ahead of the game. Get rid of these girls. And that is hard. All of these things, you know, you feel like you feel a deep sense of loss, like you're really losing something in unfollowing these girls, in cutting them off in any way. You feel like you're losing something. I had a full terabyte of porn on an external hard drive. And when I deleted it, it was, as you can imagine, very painful. And I really felt a true sense of loss. Also, when it comes to a wife, this is something that I know you boys and I do not want to hear. But, and I know this because a young Christian woman said this on Instagram, and she was slaughtered in the comment section for it by men. You should not be with a girl. You should not be dating a girl. You should not be looking for a girl to marry. You should not be thinking about girls in any way if you are addicted to porn. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about, but no. Think about someone other than yourself and accept the truth that you're hurting everyone around you. I know me too, and I don't mean to be too harsh, but I just know the reaction that this gets because I saw it play out. This poor girl was beheaded in the comment section because she said you shouldn't look for a girlfriend if you're currently addicted to porn. And what these Christian men did to her in that comment section was deplorable. And so I know the reaction that it may cause. And I'm going to tell you, as a man, it's easy to gang up on the girl, but she doesn't know what it's like. Well, I do. And I'm telling you that your wife deserves better than a husband who's addicted to porn. Okay? And if you don't want to accept that, then ask your priest what he thinks. I don't hate you guys. I love you. I just remember what these guys said to this poor girl, and that's really where my anger is directed to, not you. But yeah, you have to stop this before you get into a relationship. If you're already married, then you have to make this your first priority to stop doing this to your poor wife and children, cheating on them. When it comes to, this is kind of like a haphazard accumulation of tips and advice, but when you do get off, or when you an important thing to think of when you're looking at porn, and I would say this is probably amplified in like the websites of free porn where anyone can post anything, although I'm sure, unfortunately, it's probably around on OnlyFans as well. But you never know what you're looking at. You never know what state of mind these people are in. Of course, particularly I'm speaking of the girls. You never know, especially these less professional videos, you never know how old this girl is for sure. You never know what the context that she in her life is this happening to her. You don't know if she's being, whatted. Starts with an R. You don't know if she's old enough. You don't know. They can seem like, if you put a gun to someone's head and say, act like you love it, or I'm behind the camera, I'm going to light you up. People can put on a show. And you don't know the circumstances at which you're feeding this horrible tragedy, taking pleasure, of course, let's hope unknowingly, but taking pleasure in this abomination that's happening. And even if she's not being, whatted, and even if she is old enough, still, you don't understand the deep pain that this poor girl is in, whether she knows it or not, this deep pain of not knowing, or of knowing and not doing what's right. And these videos, there's a post on Instagram I screenshotted years ago, and it's like the comment sections, an accumulation of comment sections under particular videos of just the most terrible, just despicable comments of videos that I imagine are of this nature, this even more depraved nature. So by watching them, even unknowingly, you're feeding the algorithm, you're getting these videos promoted. This girl might become famous for the worst day of her life. you have to stay away from things and places that you know will take you down, whether that's a physical place like a bar, a club, or a part of the internet, a movie, a particular episode of a TV show, a particular movie. These things you have to stay away from at the very least. No, you just have to stay away from them. If you ever have the desire to go back to them, I'd say talk to your spiritual father. Especially when it comes to like a movie that's not like a pornographic, like 50 Shades of Grey type movie, but maybe like this one girl in like this PG-13 movie you think's really pretty, and for some reason she like just gets you excited, and it's hard. Like, talk to your spiritual father about things like this, but you can never go back. I have made this mistake, not in looking at porn, but in knowing these girls' Instagrams. I just, let me check up on them. Maybe they've converted to Christianity. Maybe they've cleaned it up. Let me just go back and look at them on Instagram. Let me just look at their face. The amount of agony that this will cause you is great, because it just puts them right back in your mind. In a sense, it resets that clock of healing, and now they're fresh on your mind. And it's, in fact, I made this mistake even just a few weeks ago. So you just can't go back. It's so tempting. But I know like her Instagram isn't like that bad. You just can't. It's not about even that. It's about putting this girl in general back into your mind. And I can't stress to you enough, like, it's not even this girl. It's like the evil power, the evil spirit behind not, and it's not even attributed to her. It's like this evil force that's pushing her, unknown to herself. Movie nudity, not even necessarily sex, again, like movies like 50 Shades of Grey, I would stay away from. Movie nudity is something that I've tried my best to some extent to stay away from in this past year. And I'm not even talking about like explicit sex in movies. Those, if I've seen the movie before, I can just skip it. But like random like shots of nudity, particularly female nudity, I don't think I'm yet willing or able to go back to that. To just like being able to casually watch a movie and know that like, oh, at 48 minutes, we're going to see a breast for 0.9 seconds. I'm still iffy on this. I need to talk to my own spiritual father about this. Because there are a lot of movies that I do wish to watch. And a great way to know before finding out too late is go onto IMDb, type in the movie, scroll down to the parents guide, look at the sex and nudity part, and it will tell you every single thing that's in there. There's no excuse for not knowing what's in a movie. Even PG-13 movies, they're starting to have nudity in them. And it's bad. I could start listing movies for your own sake. I won't. But just because it's PG-13 does not mean you're not going to see graphic nudity, unfortunately. That used to be, it's PG-13, it's good. But for the most part, yes, but you can't, it's just not true. It's completely true. Movie nudity is something where I'm still trying to avoid. I need to speak to especially if I know there's a sex scene. If I know there's a sex scene, I know where it is, I can just skip it. I can watch the movie and just skip the thing. But, like littered nudity throughout, or knowing that there is, but not knowing when, like going on IMDb, it doesn't give you a timestamp of like, at 48 minutes and 32 seconds, it's just like at some point in the movie this happens. And so I'm not yet able, or at that point where I feel comfortable being like, okay, I'm going to see a flash of a breast or at the top of a buttock. It's okay. I'm not there yet, and I don't know if you ever should be there. It's something to speak to our spiritual fathers about. A lot of people will say, go to the gym, work it out, get this sexual energy out through the gym. For me, that did not work at all. I would go to the gym, I would get, feeling pretty masculine, get the testosterone pumping, and then what am I surrounded by? I'm surrounded by beautiful young women who are wearing pretty much nothing. And very many times I came home from the gym and masturbated. I'm being triggered by such a thing. So for me, I'm not saying the gym is an inherently bad thing, but for me, that this was like the antithesis of what was helpful for me. God blessed me with creativity. I love to write. So I have been writing many Orthodox short stories, and within them, there have been many characters who have been beautiful young women that I've been able to write about in a very pure and wholesome Orthodox way. So I've been able to, I think, to some extent, get this energy out this way. And I will tell you, when it comes to that, I've not once has it ever even spurred me to want to do something else. So you have to find what works for you. Maybe going to the gym is what works for you, but for me, it's, I love to write. I would be writing stories no matter what, but now it's okay to write about a young woman. And how are we going to write about her? We're going to write about her in a beautiful, enlightening, edifying, virtuous way. And yeah, for me, that has, I think, helped get some of this energy out of me. The gym did not work for me. 3 points left, my brothers and sisters. I have always had the urge to pray for these poor girls. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly in particular ways how to, because of course I don't know these girls' names, their real names, and I don't feel comfortable. And this is something I should talk to my priest about, bringing forth their stage names to God and the saints. Some of them that I know in real life, I do know their names, so I can pray for them. But I do urge you to pray for them, but not yet. It's very tempting. It was very tempting for me in the beginning to, what's some way that I can think about this girl and lust after her? Well, what if I'm praying about it? You have to overcome lust to some extent before you can hold these girls in your mind in any way. And I think a way that you could pray for them is to just, God knows who they are. God knows what's in your heart. You don't need to her and her and her and her. But absolutely make sure that you are at a point where you can handle praying for these girls, and that it's not a most perverted prayer of lust and your own degraded satisfaction. For me, that took many months to be able to get to that point of, I'm comfortable that I can do this, and always while you're praying, making sure that these prayers are good and pure. There's one particular woman in one particular scenario that has given me the fight of my life. And this was particularly when I fell that last time, when I made it those 20 days. She gave me, the evil behind her gave me the struggle of a lifetime for, I think, 4-ish days. I mean, it would have been easier for me to, go out into the lake behind my house and pull out an alligator and scrap it out with them. And for this girl, this woman, I think, and this will be unique to you, you don't have to go looking. Trust me, the fight will come to you. You don't have to go looking for a fight, but I think that, and this is personally just an opinion of mine, that once you get to a deep point in this journey, once you've made it a considerable length, recognize who gave you that great fight and pray for her particularly, but thank God for the struggle that you were blessed to come closer to Him through, and use that to pray for her deeper and more purely. Again, once you get to a pure point where you can reasonably do these things without it being infected by lust, lighting candles at church for them, always praying for them, praying your the Jesus prayer for them are really good things. Lastly, I would like to bring to your attention Saint Vitalius of, I believe, Gaza, might be Alexandria. Saint Vitalius would do exactly what we at this point are trying to do, although he, don't be fooled, was never infected with such a disease as we. Yet Saint Vitalius would work as an older man in his 60s, would work all day in that hot Egyptian sun to come up with a wage, to then go to a prostitute's house at night and pay them so that they wouldn't have to be a prostitute, even just for that day, and spend the night praying and reading the Bible with them. And he pulled so many lost young women out of this life of disease, and even pulled them into monasteries, not forcing them, just sharing God with them, spending time in loving prayer and loving wholesome communication, that of their own will, by God's grace. Again, it wasn't him, oh, you have to be a nun now. They wanted to be a nun. They wanted to honor him. But he did not let them honor him until after he proposed to our Lord. And then afterwards, his deeds came to light, and how many women he pulled out of the clutch of the devil is staggering. So I think, coming closer to the female saints, the Panagia, of course. And I really, really stress that. But then also looking to Saint Vitalius as a great example for us as men is crucial. And I found out about him only very lately, only very, very recently. So, yes, that is my story. That is this video. That is my advice. Of course, above all else, speak to your spiritual father. Father Moses has a video about this. Father Paul Trubenbach speaks about this. I don't remember if it's on his own video or in a Roots of Orthodoxy interview, but many Orthodox priests speak about this topic. I encourage you to pursue them above anything I have to say. And of course, pursue your own spiritual father, your own parish priest in this righteous endeavor. Thank you guys for spending this 55 minutes with me. I had a feeling this would be a longer video. I really just wanted to be very thorough and say everything that I had to say. By God's grace, we will overcome this. Our Lord God and Savior overcame everything. So through him, or him through us, we can as well. It's been a pleasure being with him in this journey. It's been a pleasure, hopefully, helping some of you. One final thing I want to say, this is kind of directed to the boys, although maybe girls will have a similar, I really don't know, for some of it. Some of it I'm pretty sure they won't be able to relate to, which I think is good, but a couple things that to look out for when you do stop. I'd say probably starting at around the 3-week-ish mark, you will become much, 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 much more physically sensitive to things, to arousing stimuluses. And I don't even mean like touch. I mean, you're gonna, at least me, you're gonna start to see like so many more girls are going to be pretty, and things that like wouldn't even cross your mind to be like an arousing thing will start to trigger you to be straight up, like it'll arouse you to some extent, and you'll become much more aroused much more quickly. Also, no need to panic necessarily at around the same time and going on further from 3 weeks on. If you start to notice a physical pain in your body, a soreness, a nagging, dull pain in your testicles, no need necessarily to panic, to cause pandemonium. I kind of freaked out and melted down. I thought I was literally on death's doorstep. Oh, this is it for me. If you are deeply concerned, if for some reason you are concerned or you just want to play safe, definitely go to the doctor, have them check it out, check you out, and get a professional opinion. I'm just saying, for me, I started to develop a pain, and I have cancer, that's it, see you later. And then I realized that that's actually just not true. So yeah, no need to melt down and burn your house down if you notice a pain in your private areas. So again, though, if you are concerned, always better to be safe than sorry. Go check it out with a doctor, and get a professional evaluation and diagnosis / opinion. Do whatever you need to do, but just because you notice something does not mean you will be dead tomorrow. So with that being said, guys, I love you. God loves you infinitely. Jesus Christ conquers. Isu Christe Nika. And I'll see you later. God bless you all. Thank you.